Hi, Ashley.
Hi,
Just testing the sound.
no problem. I'm just going to be doing other work and kind of listening halfway, so no biggie.
Cross hatch. I took a lot of art classes. I had a minor in art. So.
I can sit there and draw like I stick.
No, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I did a lot of painting,
Oh,
way different process.
oh, no, painting's fun.
Clay, did a lot of clay.
Oh, like sculpting.
Mhm.
It's fun.
Mhm.
I always feel like I'm so proud of that.
Mhm.
Oh, fun. What's that?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's never ever done that before. Okay.
We're back.
Can you still hear us, Ashley? The computer just did something.
Yeah, she may not be.
I don't know why.
I'll check.
Hi, Karen.
Hi,
We're waiting a few minutes for Tara to join us.
great, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Sounds of the pool.
No, that's like.
I think it was Teresa McCracken. Sorry. Yeah, he's just taken.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Finance Committee. Trey, do you want to bring up the agenda? Okay, here's our agenda today. We're going to start with approval of prior meeting minutes. Are there any questions on those?
I move to approve.
There's only two of us, so I'll second.
Okay, so, and I agree. So those are approved, and I think we had some action items last time, John.
Yes. The first action item. Oops. Hear me? Okay. One of the, the action items, the first one had to do with water billings. I think we're going to be discussing that later later this afternoon. One of the action items that was to discuss the water billings, and I believe we're going to be discussing that at in one of our agenda items this afternoon, so I'll go ahead and defer on that. We also had a clarification with Browning that we met with him on on July 24th of 2024, wanting to find out the difference between the 24-year versus 12-year versus 6-year siding replacement costs and cycles. And I believe we got an answer to that based on his answer was the fact that even though siding wasn't going to be replaced in the first time, it could be replaced in 6 years on the same building. So I think we got a reasonable answer on that. That looks to me that those are basically two main follow-up items unless I missed anything.
Okay, thanks. And a little bit more on the siding, painting, fencing cycle. So I think the painting is set at 6 years, and the next siding, which will be it won't be the huge siding replacement like we're seeing now. It'll be a light siding, fencing, painting project, and that will be in 12 years. And then at the 24-year point, we'll see the major siding redone. But every 6 years, we'll see the painting because that protects the siding for us. So anyway. So financial statement approval. Unfortunately, we have not yet received the financial statements from Nicole, so we don't have any information on that or anything to approve. And so we'll move on from that.
Excuse me, Carol, did you want to, one of the action items we did last time was to go ahead, once we review them, to get any questions back to you by a certain date?
We're hoping that we're getting the financial statements this week,
Right.
but we haven't had any comments from Nicole on that. So I don't know if it's going to be this week or what day this week it might be.
Okay,
But my hope would be within a few days, 3 or 4 days after that, that everyone will have a chance to look at it and
And do you want us to do it like
questions.
from email again, like we did
Yes.
last time? Because I think that's what John was asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. We'll do it by email. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay, we're going to look at our timeline update. Trey, would you bring up that timeline? Thank you. Okay, thanks. So I just wanted to update everyone on where we are based on our original committee timeline. You can see that as of today, August 19th, where the red line is, we are past the point that we were expecting to work on reserves and have something to the board. We've been delayed there due to inability to get a hold of some of the records that we need in order to give feedback back to the board. And we have not yet started on operating because of that. So hopefully, in the near term, we will have all the information we need and be able to present that to the board and what our thoughts are on proposals. Any questions on that? Okay, we can go back to the agenda. Okay, so Courtney, do you have a update from Nicole?
I don't have, I kind of have an update from Nicole. Nicole and I sat together and went through a first look at the operating side of the budget. And we'll be sharing that first look with you later on this week. As far as I know, Bob Browning has not returned the updated reserve study to us yet with any sort of updates that he was making on his end. So I think she was expecting that last week, and I'm not certain that she received it. So we do, Nicole has requested that the finance committee work and look at the existing website as it exists now on Nepenthe HOA. And we're going to be obviously updating the website in the next couple of months. So we'd like to talk about what you would like to see on there from the existing site, and then anything in addition to what's already on there. So right now we have a test site and it looks exactly the same. So it's just a matter of going through the old site and pulling out what we want and adding anything that we'd like to see.
And you had mentioned putting together something for all of us to look at that with
I
Nicole.
do have some screenshots of the existing website, and that's all I really have. We could go from screenshots. I could email you the direction of just, basically it's the direction we have as board members is to look at your committee's website right now, the finance committee, and provide her with any updates, additions, subtractions, changes that we'd like to see on the new website.
You just want us to update the finance committee web.
Yeah, just that. I think that's probably our first go around at this. If there's any documents that we'd like to include on the finance website, the time is now to say, hey, we want a tab for that, and we'll include them. That
I-
type of thing.
I think one thing that we would really like to see is that our minutes are always on there updated, and the recordings of
Okay.
our meetings.
Okay. And I think that they are now, but there's a gap in some of the meetings. I believe it's finance. There's a couple of them that don't have all the meeting webcasts on there or
And
YouTube
we don't
videos.
have minutes.
Okay. And minutes aren't on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And I know
Okay.
the board wants to be able to refer to those.
Well, sure.
To see what we're asking them for.
So are the recordings coming off of YouTube?
That is going to be a little bit of a change because, as you know, the new website will have login credentials by HOA members, us, homeowners. So there's going to be another web hosting, I don't know what the technical name for it, it won't be on YouTube, so it won't be available to the world. It will be available only to homeowners on a hosted site off of our site. So that will be a big change.
Mhm.
And so anything that we would put on there would only be available to homeowners and to board members and to committee members. And then there may be another spot where only committee members can log in and see certain documents. So we have to kind of keep that in mind. That's a good question, and I appreciate that, Nina. So we do have to keep that in mind as something we might want to add to the website.
Okay.
You have a due date? Would you like this information by?
Nicole had mentioned the next board meeting is when, and that's in September, as you know. I don't know if that deadline has been pushed out at all. I'd love to have comments, at least a first go around by then. She's not looking to rush the website because it's been this way for so long. There's no reason to try and just dump it out in a hurry. She's, trying to go through everything.
Mhm.
So if we don't have everything that we need by then, I think we'll be okay. But it would be nice to think about it before then and shoot me an email, or we could discuss.
Okay. So are you going to set up for something for us to discuss it
I can.
with you, or are you thinking of some other methodology?
Well, I was just thinking at this point, if you could take a look at the website, the one that's currently out there.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly the same in the test website, exactly. So if there's things on there that you think, well, we don't need that any longer, just make a note of it and we'll talk about it. If there's things that we need, then we'll go ahead and add a section for that. We weren't given a whole lot of real constraints because it's kind of like, what do the committees think we need to see based on what we have now? And then once we get all that together, we may have further questions.
I know we'll want archival data available going all the way back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's important for the whole HOA to have
Right.
that archival data all the way back.
Okay.
So reference can be made to things from back when.
From way back when, yes. Okay. And that might be something too that might, if it's specific to the finance committee, it may be only available to the finance committee, depending on what it is and how far back it goes. So, and we can talk about that. If you guys want to take a look, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we could set up a meeting with just the finance committee group and just talk about it and then share our findings to the board and at the next finance committee meeting.
Okay.
That is all I have at this point.
Thank you. So reserve study updates. I had hoped that we would have some updates to look at. However, we're pending the information from Bob Browning. We're pending some other information. So as soon as we have all of that, we can take a look at it. The operating budget, as you heard Courtney say, we don't have anything on that other than questions around the water billings. Do you have anything on it? Or I know that the water billings that we've received to date are not what we would like to see. There really isn't any way to identify the homeowners versus the common areas are separated. So it's the common areas that we're really looking at so that we can budget effectively moving forward. Are the common area watering costs going up or down or staying the same this year, next year, and ongoing years? What should we expect in our budgets? And the detail we've gotten from the city has been, in my mind, unusable. It's not clear. It's what'd you say, 444 pages of dribble. So we would like to send back through you to the board
Okay.
and ask for something with some detail that is understandable. We need to do that, as I said, for the 2025 forecasting. That's really important. And I don't know all the little in the ground things all over Nepenthe and what numbers they are. And then another number has been associated with them by the city. And then there's some other number the city's associated with accounts for Nepenthe. And there's just no way to know what they're talking about in 444 pages. And it's important to understand that because that's going to have an impact as well to a homeowner dues next year, bills. There will be a dues amount on our bill, and then there will be a separate line item, as I understand it, that is for the water, for the personal use water. And then the common use water will be included in the budgeting in the operating budget, which is separate from the personal water. So there's just a lot to unpack there. And homeowners are going to want to know probably in October what their bills are going to look like come January 1st. So I would really like to see that we're able to give them that information as close as possible, to give them a forewarning. I don't think that personal use is going to be a huge amount or a huge change, but I think people want to know.
Is there a map? Have they provided a map of where all of the stations are, that they bill off of? So that we know what they're, when they send that back out? Okay, well, that'd be helpful probably.
And there are so many stations. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, there's lots, yeah.
Now, Carol, in the operating budget and the financials that we receive every month, there is a line item for water.
Mhm.
And I am assuming that that is common area water use.
Yes.
And like you, I've looked through the spreadsheets and can't seem to find that particular number as it pertains to those spreadsheets. But if we find it, well, there it is. But we only have those water billings through, I think, April right now. So what I'll do is I'll, again, pursue that information and see if we can, and make a little bit more sense of
Okay.
that. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. So the next item is any deliverables. And I think, John, we've got, so Courtney's going to work on us with the water billing. She's going to work with us on the reserve study updates, the information from Browning, and also on, sorry, it just slipped my mind,
The website.
the website.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Oh, the only other thing was in going back to the water billings. Who is going to provide the homeowners with an example of what our dues notices are going to look like in January of 25? Who's accountable for that?
That's a really good question. So maybe Courtney, could you take that back to the board? Because, yeah, along with getting an amount, it would be helpful for homeowners to understand what the look and feel of that's going to be. I know in a past meeting, there was confusion, definitely, about how that might look. And so thank you, John. That would be helpful.
I will.
Thank you. Okay. Any homeowner comments? Is there anybody with their hand raised on the online?
Nope.
Nope.
I do. I have a couple little things. I don't know where it stands with the bills, our HOA dues, but I still think, there's a group of people that says it doesn't matter to have the water separate. Let's just put it all in one. But I just think the optics of it for home buyers, it's a lot more digestible to see, let's say 620 plus 95, that the water's separate, even if it comes on your same bill. I don't know, but that's what I think. And other people might disagree with me. But and then just one other thing is, I have it pulled up on my screen, but back in June, let me grab it right now. Where is it? Hold on a second. Sorry, you guys, I've started working on something else. Okay. Yeah, I just was wondering if someone can ask Nicole, like, I can see that we paid our taxes in June, but we slipped into unfunded reserves, meaning we didn't make our full contribution in June. It looks like normally our contribution is $197,564, and we missed it in January because of the flood insurance. And then it looks like we didn't put our full amount into the reserves again. I think we only put about 100,000 toward our reserve contribution. So there was some kind of cash flow problem again, and maybe it's just more of an accounting issue. Moving money from reserves over to operating from the interest. I don't know, but and it seems like if anyone remembers, there was some kind of issue with our taxes, and I just can't remember, but maybe that's why. I don't know. But I guess that's my only thing is I'd like to find out about that.
Okay, thanks, Ashley.
I will follow up with Nicole. I believe that you are right, that it has something to do with our taxes being moved from operational to the reserve accounts. So I will follow up with Nicole on that.
Thanks.
Okay. Teresa? On the top, there's a button.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Teresa McCracken, 1300 Commons Drive, related to the topic that you were just talking about in informing homeowners about the coming dues for whether it's a rise or not. Last time that the board was discussing that and came to a board meeting, I found it very helpful when Bill itemized the dues and then told how much each of the components rose. It made me feel like, okay, you've thought about it and this is where the raise is coming from. So that's my
Thank you.
suggestion.
Ashley, did you have another comment?
Sorry, just one last thing. It just seems like when I looked at operations before, it's never exact. I mean, some things we can be because there's a contract, but it just didn't seem like, I don't know, like we should have maybe like a little bit of a rainy day fund or something. But I mean, there's just like no wiggle room at all. And any bill can throw us into kind of cash flow problems. I don't know, just something to look at. I don't know. Carol,
Okay.
you can figure that out. Thanks.
Thanks for your comment. Anyone else? Okay. I call the meeting adjourned.